Hey, what's up, guys? How you guys doing today? This video is kind of a continuation from last night's video, or the video I posted up early this morning at 3 o'clock. And I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna open up a can of worms here. Okay. Now, I'm a big supporter of Google. I love mobile technology. I love to blog about it. That's what I'm doing right now. But I do have, there is a part of mobile technology that I don't like. So here it is. And this is, my opinion, so bear with it. The part of mobile technology I don't like is the part that carriers play on. The fact that every Android device they have cataloged will not be on the most current version of Android. So this is kind of the reason why in earlier's blog, when I forgot to mention this part of it, that with the whole security issue that's on the older versions of Android, that I think it's funny that the headlines are saying Google won't fix, because it's not true. Google has fixed it with its updated version. KitKat and Lollipop don't have the security threat that Jelly Bean and the rest of the Android versions down under have. They had already fixed it. And it's not Google's fault that, certain devices don't or will not ever see the most current version of Android. Because carriers and manufacturers, the greed and the lazy, they are actually responsible on that part. The source codes are always put out. Every time Google, has Android updated, the source codes are out there. This is how developers are able to build versions of Android for phones that probably will never see that particular version. This is how they port it over. This is how they create their ROMs. Now, carriers, greed. Let's focus with them for a second. They know they can make a killing when you, the consumer, has to constantly keep buying a newer device just to have the latest and greatest. This is something that I talked about years ago before I ever bought my first Android phone, which was, the conspiracy behind it. I actually shared this thought of mine with a good friend of mine here on YouTube, Anthony, who, we were talking about it, and I was telling him the scheme of how all this was going to work. And it wasn't really Android that I was blaming for it. I knew the carriers were going to do this, because I knew Google's vision was just, to have every device that was out there run Android, and that it would always maintain the latest and greatest features. Which is why the Nexus line of phones are so popular, is because they are given that. They are given the ability to stay up to date. With the Google Play editions, they kind of have that same thing. It's basically a flagship phone being treated as Nexus. But every other phone, no. I have a desk full of phones here that will never see a Lollipop. And I like them phones. I like my ZTE Max. I really like this phone. And I'm okay with it being on Jelly Bean because it functions, it works just the way I want it to. Would I want it to have Lollipop? You damn right I would. But I know for the fact that with the carriers and the manufacturers, it will never happen. The ZTE Max was supposed to get KitKat. It was said that since last year, the beginning of 2014, a year ago. It's never got it. That has to do with laziness, and I wouldn't really say greed. I'd say laziness. But ZTE has never really been one to always keep their devices up to date. They just pump out devices, and the reason why they pump out devices is for the carriers, the people who market and sell their products. And that's the way that the carriers look at it. Why have a development team update the ZTE Max when we can have ZTE pump out maybe like a ZTE Max 2, and boom, we can give that Lollipop and have people spend $400 for that phone. And that is my whole beef with carriers. This is why I kind of would pray that Google would kind of come up with their own mobile service to provide for us, like how they rumored 4 years ago it was going to happen, which we haven't seen it yet. I would wish that. I would rather, if I had to go contract with Google, so be it. But I would feel much more better with Google than I would with, AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, or T-Mobile. Because they're only out to make the bucks. the dollars. And the way they see it is, yeah, you can have a phone that you really, really, really like, but once it becomes obsolete because they fail to update it, you're forced to buy a new device if you want, or you have to have the latest features for a certain thing to work, like Facebook or you guys get what I'm saying. There's certain apps that are only compatible with KitKat and Up. There's certain apps that are only compatible with Lollipop, and you don't get to use them. And if it could make your life easier, if it could be a tool that you could use on a day-to-day basis, you wind up giving in and just being like, okay, well, you know what, I like my ZTE Max, but maybe I'll just go buy this phone that has Lollipop and use that, and I'll be able to use this feature, and it would best serve my independent business that I'm running here, etc. That is my beef with mobile technology. As far as it, not so much the innovation, just some people that are involved, like the carriers, who I call the greedy ones, and then the manufacturers who are lazy. Because sometimes devices don't get updated, and it's not the carrier's fault, but it's actually the manufacturer's fault, because they too are raking in money, which then still falls with greed. So, I wish that they would keep a lot of devices up to date, and really, it really shouldn't be so hard. Especially if you have the dedication in mind, and I think that's what they put out there for everybody. Is like, the way they say it is, it's going to be so hard to update every Android device out there to Lollipop or KitKat, and the manpower it would take, and the development time it would take. And it's like, yeah, I could see that side of it, but for me, it's like, if they had done it in the first place, people would then have a better experience, because a device that they truly like, they would not have to settle to buy another one because of features it may not have. And the security issue that they're blaming Google for, that's total baloney, because the bug was fixed. It's fixed in KitKat, I believe, and it's Lollipop already has it fixed. So with KitKat and Lollipop being the fix to the issue, Google was not to blame. The blame are OEMs. They are to blame. Carriers are to blame, because carriers don't want their devices updated, because they want you to keep spending your hard-earned money to get new ones. And that's why they have this whole thing of making flagships every year and pumping them out every year and signing new people to contracts. It's just a whole bunch of crap. So I would love to know your guys' thoughts on it. If you guys would please comment in the comment section of this video and tell me your guys' thoughts about it. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, do so that way. There. Screen. Opposite. I keep forgetting. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching this video. And you guys have a great week.